Hey Cancer, how's it going? This is Dre, or my name is Dre, and this is your June 2017 reading, Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you want a reading, email me, follow my Twitter. I'm gonna probably be putting things on there for the Sagittarius full moon. And the Sagittarius full moon, I feel like there's a lot about that I need to sort of get under control. But anyway, I already did the cards. I laid them out. I'm using the Tarot of the Holy Light. Here's the book. Tarot of the Holy Light. And so, yeah. So, we have the Queen of Discs. The Knight of Cups in reverse. The Knight of Swords in reverse. The King of Wands in reverse. The Magus or the Magician. Temperance. The Hermit. Two of Swords in reverse. The Nine of Wands. The outcome, we have the Six of Swords. And additional card I pulled, we have the World in reverse. All right, so just glancing at the cards. Now, I forgot to look at the reading from last month. I already recorded, so whatever. But I do remember like that reading. A lot of your readings, Cancer, have been really tough. And it's more about you guys like, I'm getting a male influence. So for some of you, it's like either there are controlling men in your life, you are devoted to serving like male figures, whether it's like your father or your spouse or whatever. But I feel like there's still, I feel like the relationship you have with these men, or with the woman in particular, because we do have the Queen of Discs at the top here, but I really feel like that's you guys, because the Queen of Discs is Capricorn. Capricorn is opposite from Cancer. So I feel like that's more of an energy that you guys have to integrate, more of a, a way of being that you guys really have to step into. And you guys now with, happy birthday for those of you that have June birthdays. But the sun is in your 12th house since it's Gemini season. So for a lot of you, it's like sort of, I feel like a lot of you is more, you can't quite pin down, or you can't quite understand or get a firm grasp on, or totally, you're not able to verbalize or sort of communicate what it is that is like sort of eating you up on the inside, what is sort of limiting you, what is preventing you from overcoming some obstacle. Because I feel like for a lot of you, you are in a tough situation, you're in a tense environment, you're dealing with people around you, again, whether or not they are men, but you're surrounded by people that are bullies. They're sort of making your life sort of difficult. They're either bullies, they're emotionally manipulative, or they're just rude. And so, like, they'll just say some things like sort of off the cuff, and whatever, and like sort of like throw you off guard. But this time for you guys, it's all about sort of, I feel like reconnecting to something, understanding like the true essence of the situation, because we have the Nine of Wands here. And in this deck, the Nine of Wands represents like living, not in constant fear, but like living with the enemy, sleeping with the enemy, being in a situation, this could be a work environment, it could be home, that necessarily where, one other person, or it could be you yourself, you're not having your best interests at heart. Because I'm getting the sense that for a lot of you, you have the conception or the preconception or the notion that whatever this difficult sort of what's the word, tense situation can be resolved just through just waiting it out or trying to form some sort of dialogue. But the dialogue isn't there. I feel like the bridge has already been burned. People have said too many words, too many words, too many, whatever that doesn't make sense. But either way, it's like you have to understand that some things are at the point of no return, especially when we're talking about certain if we're talking about like certain relationships with people. For some of you, you could just simply be dating, and you're just like, I feel like for a lot of you, if you are dating, you're probably putting up with more nonsense than you should. Or I feel like that you aren't properly getting yourself out there because you'd rather not, because there's another situation that has your mind, that's occupying your mind. Something that's more, that you feel is like it could be an ex, or it could be like, you want to quit a job, but you won't because, you need money to survive. That sort of thing where it's just like you're in two different minds where you want to actually bring something new and you want to sort of really be involved in it. Something that really makes you feel like you're truly connected with it. But I'm seeing that there is resistance around you and other people, but there's also resistance from yourself. And I feel like that there's something that comes before this. Of course, there's a situation that happened wherein it's like you and somebody else aren't meeting eye to eye because I feel like you don't understand, or they don't understand that it's over, that it's time to really move on, and it's time to heal from something, and it's time to sort of get past all of the chaos that surrounds you. Because the Six of Swords is the outcome, is telling me that a lot of you are in a situation that you need to desperately, or if not desperately, it's just like it's more urgent than you understand, that you sort of need to free yourself from. Because we do have Temperance here and we have the Hermit, and as well as the Mages. But especially with Temperance and the Hermit, I feel like there's a lot of soul searching for you to do. There's a lot of uncovering some sort of darkness about yourself or the situation that you haven't been wanting to address. And you feel it. It's present. You see it because it's a Wands energy. This Nine of Wands, it's physical. You feel it. You react to it. You see it. It's not anything that's in your mind, or it's not anything that that you're chewing over and that you're sort of mulling over. No, it's actual now. There's chaos happening now. And I feel like for a lot of you, you're making the false assumption that you can sort of talk your way out of this or sort of bully your way through this. But that's the blind spot. I feel like there's a lot about somebody that you need to just sort of understand, that they are a bully, that they're rude, that they're mean, that they have been emotionally manipulative, that they have used their words against you. With the world reverse here, it's telling me it's like you're gonna have to want better for yourself at the end. You're gonna have to want better for yourself in the fact that things just don't happen on their own. And that's what this Queen of Discs is telling me really at the top of the spread, is that you have to be able to sort of let bygones be bygones. Understand what is worth your time and what isn't. Cancer being a water energy, I'm a Pisces, so I can understand where it's like it's hard for you to sort of separate yourself from your feelings, separate yourself from your emotions, because you want to be, in your feelings, and it's just that it's hard to sort of like pull yourself away from that. But what Capricorn energy is about, it's like, it's not, there's not anything wrong with feeling the pain. There's not anything wrong with like feeling like a failure, feeling like you did something wrong. But, sulking about it, being upset about it isn't going to change the situation. It's not going to make the situation better. So you have to put in practical work, practical effort, practical steps to sort of get yourself out of this. Now that can be anything, whether it's like you're talking to people or you're creating things, whatever is going to help you get rid of this. Because again, we have the magician, the magus here in the center. So it's like you have every tool at your disposal. And it's just like, do you want to actually use those tools to your advantage? Some of you are still trying to reach out to people, either a Pisces or a Gemini, or somebody that is like, you're not sure at all where they stand with you ever. They're very inconsistent. They might have a temper problem. But it's like, you're still trying to make something work there that when the lines of communication aren't necessarily there. And it's like, it's not reciprocated either. You have to understand that, are you just holding on to something because it's a pride thing to where you don't want to see the end of something happen because if it ends, you're a failure? Is that the sort of feeling? Or are you just, you have to understand that when you're doing that to yourself, you're hurting yourself and you're allowing other people to hurt you in the process. If you're going back to the same fire, thinking that, things will change or that, it's gone down a little bit or whatever, but then shit blows back up in your face again, can you be surprised? The Queen of Discs is also common sense, practical wisdom. Learning from experience, knowing that, okay, well, this happened, so then I tried to fix it by doing this, and then that blew up in my face, so I'll never do that again. Learning from practical wisdom, learning that, literally, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, trying to expect a different result. She and all the other queens have learned from that lesson, knowing that, I'm not God. I can't fix everything. I'm not Superman. I'm not Wonder Woman. So I'm just going to have to take the L and try to make my life better for myself in another more practical way, which is also where the Six of Swords comes in. Using the knowledge that you've gained from this hurt, from this pain, understanding what power you've gained from it now, your opportunity that can literally just be reborn from like the death of something else, the ashes of something else, is totally within your power. But there's a lot of soul searching you have to do. There's a lot of hard communication, hard truth to yourself that you have to be willing to confront and face, because some of you are just holding on to something because it's sort of this greedy feeling. The nines of any deck to me is just like, it's withholding, it's greedy, it's just like ego based. And so you're trying to rule, you're trying to control this chaos, this, chaos essentially. You're trying to control all of this tension, by going about it in ways that other people aren't appreciating, but, you feel like you can still sort of make it work, make it happen, but, temperance in this deck is represented by Scorpio. Scorpio's knowing, the energy itself is knowing when to just let something die. Scorpio themselves, they have a tendency, the energy has a tendency to sort of, hold on to things long beyond their expiration date, taking it to the grave essentially. But we don't want that. We want to actually be reborn, to allow ourselves that freedom to let something die and to be reborn again. So that could be anything, a career, a love opportunity, a job, whatever. So yeah, Cancer, that's pretty much the gist of this. So I will see you guys soon. Leave a comment, do whatever. And I will see you guys later. Bye.